Hello, thank you for clicking over to watch this video on my Maes Mieri Crafts channel. I'm Gwyneth and I craft at Maes Mieri. As this is my first official video for Maes Mieri Crafts, I thought I'd start today by giving you a bit of an introduction to me and my crafts. It also gives me a chance to see how the filming goes with this simple equipment. I'm not going for a professional look, just a homely but reasonably clear look. I will show you a few things I've already made before the end. I've done crafts all my life, such as knitting and cross-stitch. But when ill health and disabilities forced me to take early retirement due to ill health, it gave me more time to get involved in my interests to keep me occupied. What I can do at any particular time depends on how I'm feeling and which bit of me is worse. Crafts, gardening and the chapel and Sunday school are my main interests, but with several conditions that are very painful, such as a leg that's out of shape, which often becomes infected, as well as osteoarthritis in the spine. What I can do depends on the day, and I can only do it sitting for short periods of time, then I have to go down and lie down for a rest in between. The crafting I do is very varied, from card making to sewing, from jewellery making to crocheting. Let me show you a few of the things I've made now. I make a lot of cards, Welsh ones mostly. I try to keep a variety in the house, some for men, animal ones. I'd see if I can put a matching insert in as well. Then of course there's the children's cards. Again, matching insert in this one. This particular dog I coloured in myself. It's a digi stamp from Dragon's Lair Designs. I sometimes do matching notebooks and tags to go with. And then there's the sympathy cards. Always needed, always a sad occasion every now and then. This particular one is mostly die cut, but the cross is 3D printed on my nephew's 3D printer. When Christmas comes, lots of cards and lots of mess. I like the nativity ones. This one has a lot of dimension, as you can see, but this matching one is very flat to go through the post. For this one, I've used my scan and cut to do the foiling, and I used matching insert again. This one has lots of die cut elements on it. It's an 8-inch square card from Kanban base. I try to put a little variety in what I make. I use the fronts from old cards to make new toppers for cards as well. This particular card, I've drawn a line around as a sort of frame with the image. And I sometimes get asked to make special cards by people. This one is a big A4 size card. Cards, of course, are given away. But I like to make some things that can remain in the house and be enjoyed by us, such as this calendar, which comes blank from Paper Mill Direct, that I decorate up for my mother each year. This is a Pollyanna Pickering image that I've decorated with die-cut blackberries. And I think these were a Mel Heaton collection. I like gardening, but have to do it in tubs where I can sit down, and then I like taking photos and using them to make up scrapbook style layouts of my garden. It sometimes takes months between me getting out my sewing machine for a sewing session, but I've made this backpack from an old hoodie for my nephew. This is a shirt I embellished for myself, makes it easier to move in it. A night dress I made for my mother once. And this is part of a set, a robe I made for myself. I get out the squares to make some patchwork, such as the cover for this cushion for the kitchen and another place in the house. When the cover on my stick went a bit tatty, I made my own to replace it. Every now and then I get out my screen printing materials, good for decorating clothes such as this t-shirt or the bag in the background. I have also screen printed onto canvas, which I then coloured up in a variety of ink and paint mediums. I've even printed onto cardstock and used it to make up cards. My big project last year was decorating and furnishing the spare bedroom. Starting with a ball of yarn, I crocheted this big piece, which went on to be a blanket on one of the beds. In fact, I made two. Then there was cutting out all the pieces for making patchwork, sewing bits together, using some to edge pillowcases. This brightened up the pillowcases a lot. Some went on the bottom of the curtains. They were a bit too short. I think they might have shrunk in the wash, but they look great now. Then sewing lots of squares together, in fact enough to make this big piece. After that, it was a case of layering it up with wadding and a backing before getting fabric glue and pins to tightly put it together, ready for rolling in from either end and sewing the quilting in. This type of square quilting I did on this particular one, and after binding and washing, it was ready to go on the bed. In fact, I made two of these because it's bunk beds. I make some paper flowers just by tearing and scrunching, but this lot I use die cut for before I shape them to use on projects like this plaque. I also use them to make little flowers for this 3D printed vase my nephew made. I make an assortment of other things. Crocheting isn't just for blankets. I've used the same yarn to make a scarf here. And I've also made a shawl for my mother to put on when she is cold in bed. I've made several bracelets and earrings, different colours for different family members, even one for myself. This is a dream catcher I made. I've decorated with small seed beads that twinkle in the light. And for this moon and stars ones, I've covered the stars with glitter. This particular tree is made with wire work and semi-precious stones, and this one as well, but it's on a stone so that it could be mounted inside a display case with lighting. I used my scan and cut to lay down the glue for putting the filing on the letters and border of this one, and then quilled inside to make this for my sister. I hope you enjoyed that quick overlook of some of the crafts I've done over the last couple of years. My next video is going to be one showing me making a card. After that, who knows? If there's any particular craft that I've shown you that you'd like me to demonstrate, please put it down in the comments below. Thank you.